Now available in paperback, John Haynes at Death's Door. The man who rules the world takes on the Greek god of death in this action-packed John Haynes series adventure. Pick up your copy of John Haynes at Death's Door at Amazon.com and other online booksellers everywhere.
Hi everyone, it's Shawn here with a comic review video. Now, a year ago, I picked up the first issue of The Watchman, and I really enjoyed it because he was going to be your Konkret Comics street hero, and he reminded me a lot of Marvel Comics Daredevil and DC Comics Nightwing. Now, he reminds me of Daredevil in how fearless he is, and he reminds me of Nightwing because he comes from a legacy of a hero who was his father, the original Watchman. And the first story introduced us to your Tevin Fields and showed us why being the Watchman was important to him and showed why he was on this mission to watch over the city. Now, the second issue builds on the first issue, and this issue, while it goes out here and further builds on Tevin's world, it also does a great job of introducing us to more of the supporting cast, and it also introduces us to the first villain that the Watchman is going to have in his rogues gallery, the mysterious Vel. Now, the cover asks the question, who is the mysterious Vel, as the Watchman is duking it out with him on the cover, and this cover does a great job of telling us what the story is going to be inside the pages of this awesome Konkret comic. And again, a good cover is going to be something that leaves a strong first impression on the reader, and this cover that's just filled with action really gets you into the comic. And if I saw this cover on a comic shop, I would definitely go pick it up. And I want to take a minute to congratulate Konkret Comics to getting into Diamond Comics distributors, so you'll be able to get your own Konkret Comics at your local comic shop soon. And I'm hoping that they'll give you a chance to get the first and second issues of The Watchmen, so you can find out how awesome a hero your Tevin Fields is. Now, the first page opens up with Tevin and his friend Christian, and your Tevin is showing off his abilities, and he talks a bit about the Watchman serum as he's on the rooftop talking to his best friend, looks like police officer Christian. Now, he's showing off his amazing agility, and this series of panels, it reminds me a little bit of Nightwing and even more of Static Shock, because as I was reading the dialogue, I felt like I was hearing the voice of Static and Richie in this sequence as Tevin was showing off his amazing acrobatic agility, and then he shows off his healing factor, and that's where we start to see how your Tevin Fields is a little bit more than human, because he recovers from injury very quickly, and that helps him when his work as the Watchman, taking over for the legacy of his father. And as he's doing this, he's showing off some of his equipment. So again, reminding me of that whole Nightwing esque side to the Watchman. And then your Christian is going in on a case, doing an inquiry, and we have the police looking to get some information as related to this case, and that leads into the villain, the mysterious Vel. Now, the pacing here is very solid, and we get a little bit of build-up into another organization competing with the police department called Vigilance. So there's a lot of story elements coming together here in this second issue of The Watchmen. As this issue builds up on the first, we get to know a bit more about the supporting cast. We get to know a bit more about who the Watchman is working with as he watches over the city, and we learn a bit more about his relationship with those like Christian, who knows something about his secret identity. So all of this builds up, which leads to your Christian who's working with him on a case, and your Christian gets kidnapped by a mysterious individual, and after your Christian gets kidnapped by this individual, the Watchman he's looking, he needs a bike, he commandeers a bike, and shows off a lot of his amazing ability in this page, and then takes off looking for Christian on his bike in sequences that really remind me of your Dick Grayson when he was with the new Teen Titans as Robin, and some of the times that he was Nightwing. So these pages really remind me of that time when Dick was Night Robin in the early 80s, when late George Perez was drawing him. And it also reminds me a bit of Nightwing in the 90s. So we got some good sequences here, and this all leads to a confrontation with the mysterious Vel. Now, I'm not going to spoil this book because I want you to go pick it up, but this confrontation between Vel and the Watchman is extremely intense, and it's this confrontation that leads to a major plot twist that will have you wanting to eagerly pick up the third issue. So this whole second issue, again, does a great job of building on the story established by the first, and it leaves you asking more questions about the legacy of the original Watchmen, and builds to a nice mystery as related to Vel, which has some great plot twists that show us that the Watchman isn't the only one with special abilities, and again, all tying into the question of who is the mysterious Vel, and that's a question that I want to get the answer to, so I'm definitely coming back for the third issue of The Watchmen, and I'm recommending that you go out here and get your own copy of The Watchmen. This series is very solid, and like Acolyte, which really reminds me of old Roger Stern's Superman, this series, it reminds me of the old 90s Nightwing books and the old 80s Daredevil books. Just absolutely well done comic with good character development, good pacing, really solid storytelling, and really dynamic art. I mean, this is a book that we definitely want to get into, and The Watchmen has a nice gritty feel that makes you really see that the Konkret universe just isn't super duper powered guys like Acolyte, mystical characters like the Absolver, or heroines that are a part of an organization like Odina. We see that the Watchman is a guy who's out here protecting his own city in his own way, and he's got a different approach to crime fighting that really flows organically into the world of the Konkret universe. The Watchman is a very solid book, and it's one that I say that, again, I highly recommend you go out here and get, because you will be watching the days of the clock and the calendar until the next issue of The Watchmen comes up, and you're going to be counting down those days after you read this comic, eagerly waiting for that third issue to drop, because that's how good this book is. And now that your Konkret Comics is on its way to coming into Diamond Comics and coming to comic shops, you have other options other than putting in a pledge for a Kickstarter. You'll be able to possibly get these books in stores, but you still should go to the Konkret Comics Kickstarters if they come up, because that's a way you can go and get the back issues if you want, because they may not be available at the shops just yet, but you'll be able to go get those comics. You have more options. And again, I want to congratulate Konkret Comics on the success that they're having. Getting distribution is a major challenge, and they finally got that distribution that many creators, even like myself, want, and I'm hoping that it leads to further success for them in the future. Now, if you want to get your own copy of The Watchmen #2 and possibly #1 and pick up The Watchmen story, you can head over to the KonkretComics.com website and get those books ordered through the mail. And this is how I got my copies of other Konkret comics like Acolyte and many others, and you'll be able to get yours too in paper or digital format. Now, if you want to pick up my books on the SJS Direct imprint, like the ISIS series, the Eaststeam series, the John Haynes series, and the books of the Strinsterella trilogy, the Thetas, A Recipe for Success, and Eternal Night, you can find all those books on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You'll also find those books at other online booksellers like Smashwords, the iBookstore, and Google Play. And if you want to see me be able to make more comic review videos like this and have the money to pay for comics through things like Kickstarter, you can send a donation to my Patreon, my PayPal, or my Cash App, and I'll be able to go out here and buy more great comics like The Watchman and pay for pages for my own comics like those in Shawn Haynes at Death's Door and E-Steam No Good Deed. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe.
Now available in paperback and e-readers, E-Steam Horror of the Hyena Woman. Hell's aspiring angel takes on a wicked werewolf in this action-packed all-new E-Steam series adventure. Get E-Steam Horror of the Hyena Woman in paperback and e-readers today. Now available in paperback and e-readers, ISIS Legacy. Sorority secrets of the goddess next door are revealed in this all-new ISIS series adventure. Get ISIS Legacy in paperback and e-readers at online booksellers everywhere.